Hey guys, it's Aunt Alex. I'm here today to show you guys how to make friendship bracelets. They're super easy to make and super fun, so let's get going. So traditionally, friendship bracelets, as the name implies, are something that you give to a friend. So they're a really great little gift to give to someone just to show that you care, that you're thinking about them. You can, of course, make the bracelet and just keep it for yourself. The friendship bracelet police are not gonna come after you for that one. So we're gonna get started with our supplies, and the really great thing about friendship bracelets is that you don't need a ton of supplies. Really all you need is some sort of string. So normally when we make friendship bracelets at camp, we use embroidery floss, which looks like this. It comes in these little skeins, and it's pretty easy to find at most craft stores. You can also buy it online, but sometimes embroidery floss can be a little bit tricky just because it's so thin that if you tie a knot wrong or make a mistake, it's kind of hard to figure out exactly like where it went wrong, what happened, just because it's so tiny. So if you're just starting out and you have a hard time with something like embroidery floss, you can use something thicker, like yarn, which is what I'm going to be using today, also because it's a lot easier to see on camera. So after the string, all we need is some scissors and something to attach our friendship bracelet to. A clipboard works great, that's what I'm going to be using today, but you can also use something like a water bottle. I pretty much always have a friendship bracelet on my water bottle. You just need to be able to secure the friendship bracelet so that when you tug on it a little bit, it won't sort of just go flying. So to make your bracelet, you're going to need at least 3 strands of string, but you can absolutely use more. I'm going to be using 4. And you need to make them about as long as your arm. So hold the end of the string in one hand and then just pull it out until your hand's about your shoulder. And that's where you cut it, just like that. So to start, we are just going to take our 4 strings, make sure they're nice and even on one end, and we're just going to tie a really simple knot at one end, a couple of inches from the end of the string. So just make yourself a little loop, pull it through, you know the deal. And you just want to make sure that you have enough room so that with the ends you can tie the bracelet on later. So give yourself a little room. About, 3-4 inches is probably good. So then you're going to secure your bracelet to whatever you're using. Okay, so I've got my strings here. I'm going to pull out one strand that's going to be my working strand to start with. So I'm picking yellow, and the rest of them are going to be my base strands. So I'm holding my working strand in one hand and my base strands in the other. The base strands you want to be holding like kind of tight. I'm pulling on them a little bit just because that bit of tension makes it a lot easier for you to tie these knots. And you're going to take your working strand in your other hand and then lay it over your base strands, just like that. So that you have basically, it's going to look like the letter P, you can see there. And then you're going to, after you've laid it over these strands, you're going to reach through the loop of the P and pull it under and through, just like that. So you can see you basically just got a little loop, and you would know that you've got it right when it goes over the base strands, under the base strands, and through the loop. Just always tell yourself over, under, through, as a general rule of thumb. And then you're going to just, making sure you're holding the base strands nice and tight, very gently pull the working strand up to the top, just like that. And you've made your first knot. From there, you're really just doing the same knot over and over and over again. So I'll do it a couple more times so you can really make sure you get it down. You lay it over the base strands, just like that. Got your letter P, reach through the loop and pull it through just like that. You might run into a problem where when you're making this knot, if you're not tying or if you're not holding the base strands tight enough, what might happen is as you're pulling your working strand, you might have this happen where basically the base strands get kind of tangled up like that. To fix that, all you need to do is just take your base strands again and give them a good hard tug, and it'll flip back to being the color that you want, and then you can just tighten it back up. So already you can see that I've got a little bit of a spiral starting to happen here as these knots kind of inch their way around the bracelet. So now I'm just going to keep making these knots until I have a little stripe of color that's however long I want it to be. If you want, you can count the number of knots that you do. So I think I've got like 6 so far. I could say do like 6 knots with one color and then switch colors, or I could also just measure kind of like I want it to be as wide as my thumb or an inch if you want to get out a ruler and be super precise, totally up to you. When it starts to kind of spiral over all the way to one side and kind of give a little twist, that can help sometimes. So now I want to switch colors. And to do that, you're going to basically put your working strand back in with your base strands and then pick your next color. I'm going to go for pink and then pull it out. And just like that, we have changed the color of our working strand. So now the yellow is just one of the base strands. Don't worry about it for now. Just back in there with these guys. And then the pink is my working strand. And the exact same rules as before apply. You just go lay it over, reach under, pull through. You know the drill. It's the exact same knot. And you just keep doing that, but this time with a different color. So now I've got my pink stripe. I'm going to switch to my next color. Let's go for white this time. So exact same thing as before. Put the pink back in with the base strands, pull out my working strand, full steam ahead.